So, you just took a little bit, like a pre-assessment quiz over surface area and volume. And based on how you did on that is what a video you're gonna watch. So you get me today. So when we're talking about surface area, I just wanna review real quick. We know that surface area, okay, is the area of a 3D figure, is the area of each face of the figure, right, on the outside. And to find the total surface area, you find the area of each face and then add it all together. Okay, so when we're working with surface area, the easiest way to do it, a lot of times you'll just see the net of the figure. Okay, so here's our rectangular prism. And if we want to see the net, remember we reviewed this earlier a few weeks ago, but we have to unfold the prism. Okay, so if we unfold it, the first thing you're going to see is my front. And then if we continue to unfold, then you have your top, and then your back, and then your bottom. And then at the end, you have your two sides, okay? So this here is the net of a rectangular prism, okay? And if you take a look at it, I'm gonna move this up and over here. If you look at this, if I lay this out flat, okay, and I wanna find the area of this, think about what we did last week. Didn't we find the area of composite figures or irregular figures? What's this look like? Doesn't it look like an irregular figure or a composite, excuse me, or a composite figure? And how did we find the area of that irregular figure? Then we find the area of each shape and then our two sides and then add it all together. Well, that's how we're gonna find surface area, okay? So we're gonna do a couple examples together. This first one, we're actually going to find the surface area of this rectangular prism. Okay, so if I draw it on the board here, if I draw our Chick-fil-A box, okay, so we have the sides here, the top, that's going to be a dotted line, and this one here is a dotted line because those represent the lines that you can't see, okay? So if we're gonna find the area, the surface area of our Chick-fil-A box, okay? And I say this is 10 centimeters, this is 4 centimeters, and the depth here is 8 centimeters, okay? We're gonna do this by visualizing the net, okay? But also we're going to color code this, so that will help us. So the first thing that we're going to look at is if we have our rectangular prism here, when we unfold it, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the area of our front. Okay? So I'm going to take this red marker and I'm going to shade in my front here, my front of the box. Okay, so this will help us visualize the dimensions of it. So my front, okay, is a rectangle. So to find the area, I'm going to take my length of 10 times my width here of the front, which is 4. Okay? And so 10 times 4, we know, is 40. Okay? Well, if you think of the net of the box, okay, if I open up my front and I continue to unfold it, I have my top, but then I have my back. Okay, well, if you look, aren't my front and my back equal on a rectangular prism? Yes. So if my front is 10 by 4, that means the back is 10 by 4. Okay, so the area of the back would also be 40. So we have the front and the back taken care of. And I'm going to switch colors here, and I'm going to unshade my front. Okay, so we're not looking at it anymore. And I'll put these back. Okay, so if we go back to our net, if we unfold our rectangular prism, we've done the front. Now if we unfold, the next thing that we're going to calculate is our top. Okay, so I'm going to use green here, and I'm going to color in the top of our box that we're given. Okay, so now we're going to find the area of the top. Again, it's a rectangle, right? So I look, and the length of my top is right here, which matches this, so it's 10. Now, the width of my top is right here, okay? So if I look, it's this, which matches this, which is 8. So my top is 10 by 8. And if I go back to this, front, top, back, bottom, if my top is 10 by 8, guess what? My bottom is 10 by 8 as well, okay? So then I have my bottom, which is 10 by 8. Okay, let me move this down a little bit. So 10 times 8, we know the area of my top is 80 and the area of my bottom is 80. Okay, so now we're done with our top, right? Let me grab my blue marker real quick. Okay. So now we have done the front, the back, the top, and the bottom. Now we got to take care of our two sides, okay? So if we look at our figure right here is my side, okay? And if I look at my dimensions, I have 8, and then the width here, if I look, is the same as this, so it's 4, okay? So one side is 8 by 4, and both sides are equal, right? So the other side is going to be 8 by 4. Okay, so 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 4 is 32. So now we've calculated the area of each face of our rectangular prism. So to find our total surface area, what we're going to do is we're going to add all those areas together, just like we did last week. Okay, so if I do this, I'm going to take 40 plus 40, all right, which is 80, plus 80 plus 80, and then plus 32 plus 32. Okay, so I get that my surface area is 304, and in this case, we can just say units squared, because remember, area is always in square units. Okay, so there's an example to go off, but I want to take you to a little more of an in-depth problem here. Okay, so if we take a look at this, it says Diane is wrapping a box in the shape of a rectangular prism for her friend's birthday. Okay, so if we want to visualize what this box looks like before the net, this is a rectangular prism. So she's wrapping this present for her friend's birthday. Okay, a net, remember, a net is where we unfold it, we lay it out flat, of the rectangular prism is shown here. Okay, so we have to find the surface area of this rectangular prism. So just like our irregular figures, we've got to figure out what are some of our missing dimensions. Okay, so if we look at this skinny rectangle right here it tells us that the width is 1.5. We've got to find the length, okay? Well, if you look right here, this is 12 inches. So if this is 12 inches, this is 12 inches, okay? So the length here is 12 inches. So we know to find the area of a rectangle, we take length times width. Okay, so we're going to take 1.5 times 12. Whoops. All right, and we get 18. So that means this skinny little rectangle here is 18. Well, if you look, this rectangle and this rectangle are equal. So then we know that this one is 18. Okay? So let's move on to this one. So if we look, our length is the same from here to here, from here to here, here to here. So we know the length of this rectangle is 12. And the width, okay, is right here, 4.5. So the width here is 4.5. So now to find the area, we're going to take 12 times 4.5. That gives us 54. I'm going to circle our areas. So this one's 18, this one's 18. We just found this one, which is 54. And if this is 54, that means this is 54. Okay, now let's do our little side rectangles. So we know here that our length is 4.5, but we got to figure out our width right there. Well, if you look up here, this is 1.5. Well, when you put your net together, these two go together. So that means this is 1.5. Okay? So now to find the area, we're going to take 4.5 times 1.5. And you get 6.75. So if this is 6.75, guess what? This is 6.75. Okay? So to find my total surface area, I'm going to add up all of my areas. Okay? So I'm going to take 18 plus 54 plus 18 plus 54 plus 6.75 plus 6.75. So all the areas of each rectangle, I just added up. Okay? So for my total surface area, I get 157.5 inches squared, because we know surface area is in square units. Okay? So I'm going to have an activity for you to do. You can always go back and rewatch this video if you have a question.